Hello and welcome back. This will be the final update of the case of the Tin Soldier. I don't believe that we have any loose ends to tie up. So right now we are going to go straight to the judge.
Hear ye, hear ye. The Queen's Court now stands in order.
I see we have the pleasure of your company, Mr. Holmes. I understand you've been investigating the murder of General Farnsworth Armstead.
That's correct, my lord, and I believe I have solved the case.
Do you now? Well then, tell me, who murdered the General?
And it has been deduced that the killer is Philip Arnaud.
A brilliantly logical deduction, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, my lord.
Now tell us, why was the General killed?
I mean, there was a lot of different leads in this case. Each of these could have been viable, really. But in this case, it was to avenge Arnaud's sister.
Tell me, gentlemen, what was the General trying to say when he found the figure of Napoleon?
Well, considering what we already know, and we wouldn't actually in the questioning unless we answered the first two questions correctly. I mean, it's obvious now that it was intended to know who was playing Napoleon at the time. I almost pressed the wrong one there.
Rather clever of the old boy, what?
A man who keeps his wits about him to the last has my undying admiration.
I was wondering, just for the record, could you tell us what the General used to call his wife?
Yeah, I'm at a loss here of why this is actually relevant. The only thing that I can think of is it's some effort to show that you're paying attention to the actual case itself, but on the whole, I can't see why this is actually relevant. But anyway, he gave her the lovely nickname of Horseface.
Well, you've done an admirable job in resolving this mystery. I'd say you're on a par with just about any other armchair detective out there. I would suggest, however, that you rethink this case again, thereby improving your sleuthing skills.
We must be slipping, my dear Holmes. But in any event, I'm breathing easier. At least we got our men.
Oh yeah, we got our man. I think we did pretty well. But yes, you're expected to solve this case in 4 turns. Considering that there are many avenues to explore, you either have to be lucky or know exactly what to look for. I will be recording an optimal run, which should be up around the same time as this video. But for now, I will leave the actual solution in Holmes's hands.
You say you've come up with a solution, and yet you sit there calmly cleaning your meerschaum. Please, Holmes, tell me what you've uncovered.
Of course, Watson. It's quite simple, really. The most intriguing fact about this murder was the method. Mr. Sennett's report that he heard the distinct sound of swordplay struck me as most odd. It suggested an affair of honor. At General Armstead's home, my suspicions were confirmed. The old letter addressed to Captain Armstead, a rank he'd held some 40 years ago, suggested that it must have concerned something from the past. Something that was clearly upsetting to him. That was the reason for the duel.
But how can you be so sure there was a duel?
Simple reasoning, my dear Watson. The General had time to place his chair against the wall, climb upon it, and retrieve a saber. The murderer allowed him to arm himself. A duel is the only event that fits with the facts.
Are you sure the caller carried a sword? I thought all he had with him was a carpet bag and a cane.
Perhaps it only appeared to be a cane.
Ah, yes.
The intruder was described as an old man, yet he left the premises over an 8-foot wall. Clearly he was in disguise and carried off the ruse with enough expertise to completely fool the general's manservant. The carpet bag must have been used as the receptacle of the disguise when it was no longer needed.
Positively clever of you, Holmes. But what made you think it was Arnaud?
Well, since we were looking for someone adept at the art of disguise, Gerard's mention of the actor Philippe Arnaud struck a chord. Also, Arnaud plays Napoleon. No small coincidence.
What are you getting at, Holmes?
When the general turned round at the figure of Napoleon, he was trying to tell us that his murderer was Napoleon. Or rather, the actor playing Napoleon, Philippe Arnaud.
So Arnaud killed the general to avenge his long-dead sister's honor. Ah, well, unlike most of our cases, this motive was closer to the heart than to the pocketbook.
Quite so, Watson. When Arnaud's sister Fleurette was an impressionable young girl, she fell madly in love with the dashing English captain. When he left, she took her own life.
So pathetic.
Wait, there's more. Fleurette's grief-stricken mother went mad and was sent into an asylum. Thus, in the twinkling of an eye, little Philippe Arnaud, who was but a child himself, lost both his mother and his sister.
It's so sad. I'm sure he was too young to understand the circumstances that caused it.
Yes, but 4 decades later it all became clear when he found a letter written by his sister. It yielded an explanation and a name. Armstead. He came to London armed with that letter and a sword cane.
But he was here for several weeks before he did the deed.
Yes, and he might not have done it at all had it not been for the news of his mother's death. That was the final blow. He went straight away to the general's home to take his revenge. Voila.
Positively brilliant, Holmes. How do you do it?
With his pipe cleaner, of course.
Oh, Holmes. So there we have it. And it seems like Watson has a very short memory, as one of the key locations that we need to visit is the Grand Hotel. And that is where Watson himself discovered the sword in the in the cane. But that is it for now. The optimal run should be up soon, as well as the video clips that we have missed, including the video clips that we have seen already. And I will continue on with the next case very soon, which will be the case of the mystified murderess. Thank you for watching. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.